Hare Krishna friends, so we're finishing up the creation story from all the way to the beginning of Gokula, Goloka, Svetadweep, Vaikuntha, Viraj, Mahavishnu, Shambhu and Maya creating the material elements, and then all the little sparks that enter into the material elements and create the little universes. And then today will be Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva being created by from Mahavishnu and entering into each one of the universes. That's going to end this section, and then we're going to start into Brahma appearing on the lotus. And the rest of the whole Brahma-samhita, obviously Brahma-samhita, the prayers and hymns of Brahma, he is the main character, and we get his whole story and what happens to him and all of his prayers, all for the rest of the Brahma-samhita. Very beautiful. The next video, we're going to go over a bit of the explanation of the same exact story, but coming from the Bhagavatam, where Brahma appears from the lotus of the navel of Vishnu too. Okay, so coming up next video, that's it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna friends, so let's study verse 15. So this first line is Vamangad Ashrajad Vishnu. Vishnu is created from the left limb of Mahavishnu. And here we have Mahavishnu laying in the Viraj river, and his left limb manifests Vishnu. Dakshinangat Prajapatim, and the right limb of Vishnu manifests Brahma, otherwise known as Prajapati. Jyotir Linga Mayam Shambhu. Shambhu, who is the dim reflection, the Jyoti, the male generative organ, he manifests from Kurcha Deshad Avashrajat, created from between the eyebrows of Vishnu here. So Vishnu is from the left arm, Brahma is from the right arm, and Shiva, Shambhu, is from between the eyebrows of Mahavishnu. And why? Because if we remember, Mahavishnu is laying in the Viraj river, and from Mahavishnu's pores, limitless seeds come into the material universe, and as they hit the material universe, they expand, and in each one of them here is a Vishnu and a Brahma and a Shiva not pictured here. And so the source of those Vishnus and Brahmas and Shivas are here, Mahavishnu, and they extend out like rays into each one of the universes. Okay, friends, the purport is pretty straightforward. We've discussed it a lot. You've heard it many times, and you will read it in your reading assignment. This last paragraph is interesting. It says, Vishnu, the manifestation from Mahavishnu's left arm, being God himself, serves as the eternal guiding force for each individual soul. As people say, God in the heart, he's also the guide that helps bring us out of this material world. Often described in the Vedas as the size of a thumb. Obviously, he has no size. He's unlimited, but if you were to give it a size, you would say it's about this big here. He nourishes and supports all beings from within. Those seeking material progress worship him as Narayan, the Lord of sacrifices, while meditative yogis aspire to merge with him as Padam Atma, the supreme Atma. So you're the Atma in the body, you're the witness, and there's the Paramatma who is guiding and directing everything. The supreme soul within your heart. Nice. Okay, friends, so here we are at verse 16, and it's only 2 lines. Ahankaratmakam Vishvam Tasmad Etad Vyajayata. And that means Ahankaratmaka, the embodiment of the ego principle, all pervading, Tasmad, that person, Vyajayata has originated from. So that person who's Shambhu has manifest or has originated the Ahankara principle. So all false ego, false sense of self comes from Shiva and is pervaded through this whole material creation. The translation is, the function of Shambhu in relation to Jivas is that this universe, enshrining the mundane egotistic principle, has originated from Shambhu. So essentially, ego, false sense of self, has originated from Shambhu. And so you'll read this as part of your reading assignment, but I do want to talk about this sentence, which is interesting. We'll start from the top. We're going to read these two sentences right up to here. The basic principle is the Supreme Lord himself, who is the embodiment of the principle of existence, of all entities devoid of separating egotism. So the essence or the source of everything is Krishna, and in that place there is no ego of separatism. We're not separate from God in the spiritual universe. In short, in this mundane world, the appearance of individual entities as separated, egotistic symbols is the limited, perverted reflection of the unalloyed spiritual chit potency. So here we have a sense that we're separate from God. Like people say, well, I don't know that there's a God. I don't see God. I don't experience God. You're an illusion from divinity. You're connected to God. You are a ray of God. Just like the sun, like I'm seeing sunlight come through these windows. And if I said, well, I don't see the sun, I just see the sunlight. There must not be a sun. I don't see it. That's an illusion. I just am ignorant to the sun. Maybe there's a cloud in the way. So in the spiritual universe, there is not a disconnect between the soul and God. And as representing the primal masculine divine generative function Shambhu, it is united to the accommodating principle, the mundane female organ, which is the perverted reflection of the spiritual chit potency, Ramadevi. So there's the Supreme Purusha, who's Krishna. There's the Supreme Prakriti, which is Ramadevi. And that's the spiritual universe. We are not disconnected from God, but that ego principle mixed with Maya in this material world, which is a perverted reflection, the opposite of that, a reflection, is that we are disconnected from God. God doesn't exist here in our illusion. Okay? Hare Krishna. Okay, friends, here we are, verse 17. It's pretty straightforward, so we're just going to read the translation. Thereupon, the same great personal Godhead, assuming the threefold forms of Vishnu, Prajapati, and Shambhu, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, entering into the mundane universe, plays the pastimes of preservation, creation, and destruction of this world. This pastime is contained in the mundane world. Hence, it being perverted, the Supreme Lord, identical with Mahavishnu, prefers to consort with the goddess Yoganidra, the constituent of his own spiritual chit potency, full of ecstatic trance, of eternal bliss, appertaining to his own divine personality. In other words, when they enter into each one of the universes, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Vishnu spends his time with Lakshmi. Lakshmi is spiritual in nature. And Brahma and Shiva, they spend their time with their consorts. In the purport, it says, the dislocated portions of divinity, Prajapati and Shambhu, both identifying themselves as entities who are separate from the divine essence, sport with their respective non-spiritual Achit consorts, Savitri Devi and Uma. Savitri is Brahma's wife, and Uma is Maya, Parvati, Kali, Durga, and such. The perverted reflections of the Chit potency. The Supreme Lord Vishnu is the only Lord of the spiritual potency, Rama or Lakshmi. So Mahavishnu is spiritual entirely. Lakshmi is spiritual entirely. Brahma is actually a jiva, and he consorts with Savitri, who is not of the spiritual realm, and Shiva consorts with Uma, who is also not of the spiritual realm. Hare Krishna.